there is also, though, something else that I need to talk about, which is that if I do get onto Big Brother, I'm fantasizing about all the time, and I have no idea if it's going to happen. It might not. But yeah, I do think that there's enough evidence to prove that I'm Christ, and I do think that I can get enough funding to do some sort of worldwide Big Brother because, you know, you're never going to see God again. I'm never going to come back. God is only going to be on earth 4 times, and that's, the last one is going to be at the end. So you might not see me again for a very long time. And I don't know how people respond to my religion. How long it would take to fully, accept it. If I'm even going to be accepted during my lifetime. But one thing that is going to change is that, this ceremony was all about God. They were making it about the king, yes, but it was all about God's blessing and God's, anointing and God's, allowing this to happen and stuff. And I'm just sitting back thinking, actually, I've got evidence that I'm God. And okay, I know the world doesn't believe, but if the world does start believing, if what I believe about me getting onto Big Brother and getting the world to know me, getting the world to actually to care about who God really is. She doesn't sit on a throne; she sits on a bed. And I have no shame about this. I have no shame about making all these videos on a bed. It started this way because I've got no throne. But yeah, people are going to be, you can't have a ceremony like that where you're going on and on about God, and yet God's living in America and probably not even taking any interest. If William was to be crowned king in 10 years time or whatever, I don't know if I'm going to even attend it. Like, I don't, my life will probably be very different if I am exposed as Christ and if the world believes. Um, but I don't know. I don't know what will happen. But um, if he's 20, if it's in 20 years time, then he's definitely going to be much older. And I don't know if I'd really want to anoint. Well, he's only 40. What age is he now? Is he 40 now? He's a bit actually he's my age. But yeah, in 20 years time he'll be 60, or if it's 30, yeah, I don't know. The king could live for a very long time. People live to 110 sometimes. So it's unlikely though, because you don't have a very good quality of life if you get to that age. But yeah, I don't know. It would be weird to do a ceremony all about how God approves of this, and yet there's evidence that I'm God and that I'm like not bothered or not really taking much of an interest. So I don't know. I don't know what will happen, but yeah, if they want to go with God, I mean, it just really depends on how much this world cares about me when they realize who God is. And maybe I would probably want to go for the younger people in the generation. Like, I don't know who they are because I don't know anything about his kids or Harry's kids or anything. I know Harry's no longer in the sort of royal thing, so I would love to talk to him about the reasons why he's not in this. Is he just fed up of the whole thing of royalty and stuff, or I don't know. I don't know. I can't say because I don't know the future. My higher self knows the future, but she ain't telling me anything, and we don't talk. We can't talk in that way. We can't communicate in that way. If I knew the future, I would know that I wasn't going to get onto Big Brother over the last 10 years, and I wouldn't have spent 10 years thinking that it was going to happen sooner, which has just caused me huge amounts of pain. So I can't work out the future, but yeah, I know that people might want to know, if I was to crown someone, maybe they'll take an interest in who I would choose. And yeah, I probably would choose the younger members. I would prefer to go with one of the younger members. Um, but I don't know. I just don't know how the world will respond to me, or if they'd care enough to change things. I definitely don't want England being a Christian country, that's for certain. I notice he's not calling himself the head of the church, he's calling himself the Supreme General or something, which is a better title. And yeah, uh, I don't know. It's complicated now because I feel like just no one gives a shit, and therefore it's hard to imagine the world giving a shit about wow, Christ is on earth. Oh, should we should we make the kings and queens who she wants them to be, rather than, or who she thinks is a better representation of who would be most entitled to the throne? I don't know if they'd take an interest at all in me, because no one has until now. So I mean, no one has even now. So but anyway.